Matikan apa?
Hidupkan dulu ya kameraku.
UBI dong, kan? Ada kameranya. Pasko. Enggak, pernah juga subuh itu.
Wih.
Panggil dulu Ibu Asriani. Lambat. Sebelah kanan maju lo nah mudah perlengkapannya. Suruh orang mengambil headset satu lagi. Takut jangan ada layar mau apanya. Headset yang ada mikrofon.
Dia udah kematikan. Mananya? Mana background ini guys? Google pakai emailku. Ini masuk ke dari sini. Sama itu di atas dengan bawah. Ambil. Yang nggak tahu. Apa ya? Mau jadi sabaran apa ya? Siapa ya ada insight-nya? Nggak kedengaran loh. Mana? Gimana caranya? Suaramu kurang asal. Suaramu. Kurang ajar ya.
Hi Nick, how are you?
Hi, good.
Where is
Who's
Finn?
Finn, he's in the bathtub.
Going to sleep?
Soon, maybe in a couple hours.
Ah.
He's eating dinner and having his bath.
Terima
Is this
kasih.
Hesty? Is this
Terima
Hesty?
kasih. Yeah, Hesti. Well,
I can't. Where are you? I can't see you.
right. Not yet.
Oh, Rima's in bed. She's sick today.
Hello. How are you, Mr. Nick?
I'm good.
Yes, thank you. And how about Ma'am Hesti? How are you?
I'm sorry. Please say that again. Can you repeat
Sorry,
that?
sir. Ma'am Hesti, sir.
Just a second. I've lost everybody. Hang on a sec. Oh, where'd you go? Oh, there we are. Okay. I'm sorry. Can you repeat yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir, because now I just want to start my video.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, there's something trouble here. Wait a minute, sir.
Sure. Now I see you, Hetty. Uh-oh.
Nick, can you share the slide yourself or need Gaby to help you?
Share the slide.
Yeah,
Yes.
use the slide yourself or need someone else
You will
to.
restart the camera.
I'll
Yes,
need
sir.
Yes,
Yeah, I don't.
we need your PowerPoint to share.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
You share yourself, me?
Pardon me?
Yes, you can send to Ma'am Hasti and then Ma'am Hasti share to me. Then we will share your screen.
The PowerPoint?
Yes.
Let
I sent you this morning. Have you revised it?
me see here. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Yeah, my son had deleted my WhatsApp, so I wasn't getting your messages. I didn't realize it till this afternoon. Okay, speaking skills, yes.
Baby, I have sent you the
Oh.
material.
Want me to send these to you, or how do you want to do this?
Belum mau ya, Bang?
Yeah, baby, I have sent you the materials. Next, if Mr. Nick have some addition or some revision, he can directly give on the screen. You can
Okay.
him share, right, Bu? Not Mr. Nick.
I have it. I have it here. Kind of hard for me though. Sec.
Okay. Ma'am Hasti, so it is the slide from Mr. Nick. So
Yep.
I will
you
take it.
Can you put it up on your screen there?
Cancel kan? Ini ku cancel.
Okay. So we will share it in presentation session, sir.
Yeah, improve your speaking skills. Missing it. Okay.
Tunggu dulu. Saudara-saudara, Ahmad, stop dulu mikrofon. Kecilkan suaranya. Pakai headset dulu.
Mana buka?
Ayo, Bapak Biter, angkat dulu.
Baru aneh, VB-nya kok gimana itu?
Aktifkan dulu dari mana?
SD?
Yes. What can I do
Do you-
for you?
Do you have the PowerPoint up on the screen now?
Okay. Ibu Gaby will help you, Mister. Ibu
Okay.
Gaby will help you to share the slide. Bu?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Wakil, I will share your presentation slide. But
Okay.
firstly, we're still in preparation. We just wait for the participants, all participants join this Zoom.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, just let me know when you're ready then.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Pak Nick, don't you go to Indonesia this month? This is the end of the year. You usually come here.
No, not this year. We usually come every second year. So, but we were hoping we might come this year, but no, it's going to be next year. Yeah. Actually, we're going to be moving there when we come. We're not going to be visiting. We're going to be moving there. So we're just getting ready to move there next year.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
No. Not next year. After next year, 2004, maybe, right?
2023.
Oh, 2023, you come here?
I think, well, that's what we're hoping. Yeah. To move sometime towards the end of 2023. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
If everything works out. So we're working hard on it, just trying to get. Not easy to make a big move like that. It's a long ways away, and we have to get rid of everything here and then move everything over there.
Oh, so you directly move 2023?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, very nice. You will stay in Bali or in Malang?
We're hoping to stay in Bali, but it may be Malang at first. Yeah. Because we're building a place in Bali, but I don't think it'll be ready I don't think it'll be ready to get there.
Hmm.
So I think we'll be in Malang first. Mm-hmm.
And first. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tapi tergantung perpustakaannya loh, Mbak.
Where are you guys? Where are you right now?
I am in Nganjuk.
Where?
Nganjuk. My home.
Oh, your place. Okay.
What is Mbak Ani doing? Is she going to
Anik?
sleep?
Anik?
Yeah.
No, she's just getting Finn fed and bathing him and getting him ready for bed in a couple of hours. He's bed early. Yeah, he usually is up kind of late. I don't know. A lot of kids go to bed early, but not him. He likes to stay up until about 9:30.
Yeah, he is very active.
He's very active. Yeah, exactly.
Like
yeah. So, and big now. Wait till you see him. He's huge. Yeah. Let me share. Maybe I can. Where's my kids? Let's see here. I'll use this phone.
Ya, 6 apa 37 gitu. I lost my connection.
No, ma'am. You are still here. Hello, can you see me?
I can see you perfect.
Yes. Introduce myself. My name is Gaby Moran Priscilia, Mr. Walker.
Pleased to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you too. How are you?
I'm good.
Gaby, I think you use two devices or two device near to you because it sounds there is an
Yes, ma'am. Because I'm not alone here. I'm not alone here. Okay, but when I'm speaking, the other will unmute.
fine.
Is that
How
better?
are you? How are you, Ma'am Hasti?
There's an
Okay, we will start our virtual meeting at 9 a.m. in Indonesia and at 10 in Canada. Okay, firstly, allow us to show you our video about this webinar. I mean, as an introduction of our study program, English language study program of Institut Pendidikan Tapanuli Selatan. Please allow us to open our video. I'm sorry, because it is raining here, so there's something trouble in our signal. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. That's such an opening video of our as an introduction of our study program. It is English language Education Study Program of Institut Pendidikan Tapanuli Selatan. Okay, Mr. Walker, can we start this session? Okay, before starting this webinar, we hope all the participants to unmute your sound, your voice, unmute your video, but you can switch on or turn on your video. Okay, actually, Mr. Walker, we have 160 participants of this English webinar. Wow, yes. Okay, Mr. Walker. Oh, ini Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Indonesia, and good evening, Canada. Hello, we have our great speaker today, Mr. Nicholas Jos Walker from Canada. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Praises to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us chance and help so we can do or help or hold this English webinar in virtual room Institut Pendidikan Tapanuli Selatan, and unforgettable to our great Prophet Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam who has brought us from darkness into brightness. The Honorable, the head of Al-Iman Foundation, the Honorable Director of Institut Pendidikan Tapanuli Selatan, the Honorable, the first Vice Rector, the second Vice Rector, the Dean of the faculties, the head of units, and the head of study program, especially the head of English language education study program of Institut Pendidikan Tapanuli Selatan, and the Honorable, our great speaker, and also Ma'am Hasti Puspitasari from Universitas Blitar, Jawa Timur, and my beloved, all of the participants of this English webinar. Introduce myself, my name is Gaby Moran Priscilia. Today I will be your master of ceremony and the moderator of this English webinar. Okay, we go to the first agenda is the opening speech from our head of English language study program, Ibu Asriani Hasibuan, Sarjana Pendidikan Magister Humaniora. Please welcome.
Okay. Well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning all participants, and good evening Mr. Nick Walker in Canada. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Let's praise Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us chance and help so we can gather and join in this English webinar. And salawat and salutation to our great Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam who has left us Al-Quran and Al-Hadith as our guidance in this life. The Honorable, the head of Al-Iman Foundation, the Honorable Director of Institut Pendidikan Tapanuli Selatan, the first Vice Rector and the second Vice Rector, the Honorable, the Dean of the Social Science and Language Faculty, all committees and participants, and our special speaker today, Mr. Nick Walker and Also, we have Miss Hesti from Universitas Blitar, Jawa Timur. And dear participants, English Language Education Study Program of Institut Pendidikan Tapanuli Selatan loves to make an upgrade day by day, month by month, and year by year. And for this year, 2022, through this English webinar, our study program tries to reach an international scale. We try to improve students' competence by finding and inviting a native Canadian to give us some knowledge and elaboration on speaking skill. Mr. Nick Walker, as our speaker today, he is an alumni of the University of British Columbia and active as a coach of commercial and residential investment. So we would like to thank Mr. Nick Walker. Thank you very much for the chance. We are really honored to have you here, Mr. And I also would like to say thank you to all committee and all participants. Hopefully this English webinar runs well. And finally, let me state that English webinar, you from the team, improve your English, be a good speaker is officially open. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you to Ibu Asriani Hasibuan, Sarjana Pendidikan Magister Humaniora, for the opening speech. So now we go to our main session, is presentation session from our great speaker, Mr. Nick Walker. But before starting this presentation, I will tell you or inform you resume of education and work history of Mr. Walker. Yes, he is a Canadian native speaker and from education from Langara College, University of British Columbia, and Southern School of Business. And then from work history, from Balance Life, Fair Vision, and Common Ground magazines, Independent Media, Reormax Sable Realty Self-Employed, and Royal Pacific Realty Self-Employed, specialized in commercial and residential investment and unique property. Okay, we know that English is an international language that we really need for communication and interaction and compete in this digitalization and globalization era. And for that, we invite great speakers to share knowledge and experience, all of us here from Canada. Thank you, Mr. Walker, because you accept our invitation to be invited speaker in this English webinar. So now, all of the participants, are you ready? Yes. Okay. For Mr. Walker, please welcome. For all participants, we hope you to unmute but turn on your video. Turn on your video, but please unmute your voice.
Besok pagi lah kita ambil sertifikatnya. Jam 8. Kamu mau jahit?
Mr. Walker, we are so sorry because we need time to open your presentation slide. It is raining here, so maybe there's trouble of signals. We are sorry.
Yeah, don't apologize. It's fine. I've been to Indonesia. I know how much it rains there. And it rains hard.
Why? We cannot share the screen,
Yes, we just still trying to open the screen.
or I will help you maybe.
Okay, if you don't mind.
Let me try first.
Yes, because it is raining here. The rain is so, oh my God. Yes, thank you.
There we go. Improve your speaking skills.
Be a good speaker. Actually, we are really impatient to wait for the presentation from our great speaker today.
It's okay. We'll get through this.
So
Other share the screen, so I couldn't share. Can you see? Can you see, Bu?
I can see.
So, Pak Nick, can you see the screen?
I just see the WhatsApp screen.
No, not WhatsApp. I have shared the screen here.
There we go. That's it. That's it.
okay, we will start this presentation. I will invite our great speaker to present the material about improve your English, be a good speaker. Please welcome.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you very much. So, what is speaking skill? Speaking is the skill that the students will be judged upon most in real life situations. It is an important part of everyday interaction, and most often the first impression of a person is based on his or her ability to speak fluently and comprehensively. So as teachers, we have to responsibly prepare the students as much as possible to be able to speak in English in the real world outside of the classroom. Is it possible for me to elaborate on that? Can I elaborate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is your problem in speaking? Question mark, question mark, question mark. You know, I think a lot of the problems people have in countries where English is not the first language is being able to speak English outside of the classroom. That's the most difficult thing. You can go into the classroom and you can speak English with your teacher, or you can write English, or you can read English, or you can speak English amongst yourselves in the classroom. But English really takes place outside in the real world. When you're going shopping, you're you know, in the shopping mall, or just getting gas for your car, or whatever it might be. So what you want to look for are opportunities outside of the classroom to be able to speak English. You can go to the next slide. Your problems. You may think that you have nothing to say, or that you may lack interest in the topic, no previous learning experience, or cultural reasons. And probably cultural reasons might be one of the biggest problems that you might have in speaking English outside the classroom, because everybody speaks Bahasa. They speak, was it Madura, or other languages within Indonesia, East, you know, Java. So trying to find people that you can speak with in English outside of the classroom is very, very challenging for you. And I really understand that. And I think any time that you can maybe do group to go out as a class, and or even with your friends, and try to speak in English together, you know, just going to get some food and trying to, you know, little exercises to try and speak English while you're ordering your food, just amongst your friends, you know, or even just watching English movies on your computer, and trying to, or even just interacting online with people in English can be very helpful. Here's an important question. Are you afraid of making mistakes? A lot of people don't want to speak English because they're just afraid of making a mistake. I run across people in Canada all the time who they just sit and smile and they won't talk. And they always tell me that they're just afraid of making a mistake, and that's why they don't speak English. You have to be willing to make lots of mistakes, lots and lots of mistakes in order to learn. And it doesn't matter if you're learning English or you're learning anything in life. You have to be willing to make mistakes. That's all part of learning, is making mistakes. Or in the case of if you're playing a sport, let's say, you have to learn how to lose. So you have to learn how to make mistakes. You have to accept those mistakes. And in making those mistakes, you actually can move forward and you can learn. And that's what I was just saying here. Mistakes is not always mistakes in speaking. And why? And it's because every opportunity, whether it's, even if you're making a mistake, it's an opportunity to learn and to correct yourself and to learn the correct way. Long as the speaker and the listener understand each other, it's not a mistake. I'm going to tell you a little story. I was in Italy many years ago, Italy, in Florence, and I went for a long walk in the valley, and I came across a very old man, and he came out of his little farmhouse, and I wasn't lost, but I was all by myself. He started talking to me in Italian, and I didn't understand anything he said. And then we started talking and using our hands and gestures, and we spoke to each other for 15 minutes, not understanding each other, but in a funny way, we did, just from our laughter, showing, waving our hands around and trying to communicate. We did communicate. It was really fun. I'll never forget it. So yeah, don't be afraid to speak, even if you think you're not being understood, yeah, even if you understand just a little bit of what somebody's saying, at least you're understanding something. And that's where you begin. Yeah. Listen, initiate, reading, reflect, prepare, try to speak up, and then practice. Yeah. That's what you have to do. You have to, I think, in English or in any language, you have to listen. You have to listen to what the person is saying so that you understand what they're saying. If you understand what they're saying, then you can respond to them. Imitate. Imitation is absolutely important. My son is learning how to talk right now, and that's what he does. He just imitates. His mother got upset with him the other day, and so he took one of his toys and he put it on the ground and he started repeating the same thing to the toy about how he was upset with the toy, just like his mother was upset with him. So he imitated and he copied his mother. And so imitation is a very important factor in learning a language and in learning anything. Reading, when I went to college, I think the most important things I did to improve my English was to read and to write. Reading and writing. Being able to read something and then take what I read and be able to put it down into words to what I read so that I could actually express that I understand. And to reflect on what you're reading. I think writing helps you to reflect on what you just read. So reading something and then writing about it is a very, very good exercise. I can't actually say that there's a better exercise than reading and then reflecting and then writing down what you read. And it helps prepare you. Try to speak up. Initiate conversations. Don't wait for somebody to talk to you. You talk to them. How are you doing? If you ask somebody a question, they're going to answer you. So just think of a question. It could be any question, something simple. How are you today? Do you like the weather? Is it raining out? Something simple. But that's all you need to do. Break the ice, say something simple, and then next thing you know, you're talking. And you can even use this in your own language if you want to meet people. And then practice. Practicing to speak English, even if it's in the mirror. You can look in the mirror and just speak in the mirror, English. Practice your English in the mirror, talking to yourself, if you don't have somebody else that you can talk to. So practicing your English, whether it's at home, in the classroom, wherever you might be, try to practice any chance you get. Even if it's, reading a book, reading something, writing about it, just practice. These are some of the simple techniques you can do to improve your speaking. Next slide. Listening, okay? Listening to English has several benefits. It allows you to pick up new words, phrases, and ways to respond in conversations. Secondly, listening provides opportunities to understand pronunciation. That is, how words are spoken, how some words are omitted when speaking, how some are joined together with rhythm, the intonation, and the sounds of language. Next slide. Initiating or copying someone is a wonderful way to improve your speaking skills. Imitation will help you become more accurate in English, help you remember chunks of words and phrases. Okay? So you want to try to remember your words and your phrases in small chunks. It helps you in remembering word patterns in a sentence, how certain words go together with others. You know, another thing you can do, I don't know if any of you ever read poetry, English poetry, but that's an excellent way to look for patterns in sentences and learning interesting sentence structure and phrases and ways to speak is you can learn by just reading poetry. Try that sometime. Next slide. Reading is yet another important skill to have when learning a language. Whether you prefer a novel or an article, reading a few minutes every day will help you acquire new vocabulary. Yeah, there is no better way to increase your vocabulary than through reading. Reading is essential, absolutely critical to increase your language and to learn not just learning new words, but also how to use those words in context. So reading allows you to see the context in which the word is used. And then you then can go and imitate and try to find a way to use that word in a conversation sometime. You know, and that expands your ability to express yourself more clearly. Next slide. Reflection. Reflection is a very useful step in improving your speaking skills. Reflection is nothing but asking questions to think about what you've learned, how you learned, what progress you see, what could be done differently, and how to change the way you learn to allow progress. Okay, so just reflection is an important. It's an important practice that you should apply to your life and everything you do. To reflect about your relationships with others, to reflect about your schoolwork, not just the language,
but just reflection in life, to learn to reflect, to think deeply about the things that affect your life. Yeah, that's very important. Reflection. Next slide. Prepare. Prepare, it's a short version for preparation. And if you prepare well, then you'll be ready for opportunity. Okay. If you hesitate to speak or take part in conversations in English because you're nervous, or what else you can prepare by doing preparation, like writing simple phrases, listening to vocabularies, or creating cheat sheets for everyday situations. So one of the things that I did when I was learning Latin in school at UBC, I was learning Latin. And one of the, I guess you could call it a cheat sheet, but I love to use cards. I would have lots and lots of cards, and I would reflect on these cards every day. And the card would have a word. I would just write down one word on the card. And maybe I might have a sentence also about how I would use that one word. And I would just keep going through all these different cards. I might have 100 of them. And just to increase my vocabulary and to understand how I use those words in Latin. So that's kind of how I prepared myself for tests in Latin, was using cards. So preparing yourself using tools that can help you remember, help you reflect, is a very good way to help you improve your English. Next slide. Try to speak up. There is no magic pill that would help you speak better. You must put yourself in situations where you are forced to speaking English to get better at it. Start small by practicing for people around you. That's true. I always use a metaphor of a staircase. And when you're climbing a staircase, don't look at all the stairs. Just look at the stair in front of you, and you step on the first step. Then you step on the second step. Try to approach your language, your learning of language, in small chunks, just little bits at a time, little bits. Don't try to look at the big picture, because otherwise you might too much for you. So, practicing is, the more you can practice and get into the classroom with your kids and speak up and test your language, test yourself. Try your new words on people. Just experiment. Think of it as an experiment when you're trying to learn new words with your classmates. And learn to laugh at yourself. If you make a mistake, it's okay. Laugh about it. Everybody can laugh. It's funny. Keep going, because you're all going to make mistakes and you're all going to laugh. So you have to learn to laugh at yourself. So, and I think when you can do that, when you can learn that, learning becomes much easier, less stressful. Practice. Regular and consistent practice is the key to success when it comes to speaking English. Absolutely. Think about anything you did in your life that you're good at. Okay, I don't know what that might be, but let's say that you're good at one particular thing. You know that you had to practice a lot to be good at it. So if you're going to learn English, and be good at it, you've got to practice. If you want to learn math, you have to practice your math to be good at it. If you're playing a sport, you have to practice to be good at that sport. So practice is key. absolute key. Having and practice regularly, having a time of the day, maybe a couple times during the day where you practice regularly is really, really important. And to stay consistent, don't try to practice too much. Make sure that whatever you do, if you say practice once a day for an hour, stick to it. Don't change. And if you do that, you will definitely get better and improve. Next slide. How do you distinguish weak and weak, patience and patience, sell and sell, here and here? So how do you distinguish these different words? They have different spelling and they have different meanings. How do you distinguish? You have to distinguish through context. How are you using this word? In what context is this word being used? And when you know that you're speaking about, let's say the context is a hospital, then you know you're talking about patients in the hospital and not patience, of having patience to read a story.
Mana nggak ada.
And that's the same with sell and sell, sell and sell. I'm going to go sell you a car, or I'm a doctor and I'm studying how cell structures split, how to split a cell. So that's the context. When you start to unveil the context of a word, then you know which is the correct word to use and the correct spelling. So it's really a matter of also memorizing. You have to just, that's the difficult thing about English, is you have to practice these words and how they're spelt and how they're used, and you have to memorize them. And you will make mistakes, and you will use, often, you think of the word there, and there. One is they are, one is there, meaning that's mine, something I own, and there's there, over there. So I always had real trouble with there. But I learned from making mistakes many times. I eventually corrected it and eventually, learned how to use those words in the correct context. So think about the context. Think about, the who, what, where, when, why, when you're considering words. Then you choose the correct word. The other thing I might just add to this is, when you're writing, you always want to think about the right word to use. What is the right word? There's many English words you can use to describe something, but what is the best word to use? And so that takes, contemplation and thought to consider the right word to use for what you're trying to say. And that goes for your own language of Bahasa. When you're speaking, always think about what's the right word I should use to describe this, to really make my point. Okay, next slide. Common homophones. So we've already talked about some of these common homophones. Let me just blow this up so I can read it a bit better. Again, what I talked about, context, time and time, sight and sight, different spellings, different meanings, different use for the word. So you have to study these words, like cue cards. Remember I was talking about the cue cards, writing words down on a card. Write the word time, T-H-Y-M-E, and as a word on a card, and then underneath you could write the recipe calls for thyme. You know, say a teaspoon of thyme. Whereas the word time, T-I-M-E, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. So you write the word down and then you put down a little sentence below with the context that you would use that word. And so on and so forth. You would use that on all these different words. As I would get a cue card and I would write down each one of these words with a sentence on how to use that word and memorize it. And that's the way I would approach it. There is no simple, easy method, but practice. You have to practice these words. You have to study these words. You have to memorize these words. And eventually they become common to you and very easy to use, and you don't have to think about it. But in the beginning, you'll have to think about it a lot. Okay. Next slide.
Hello, Mr. Walker. We cannot hear your voice. Hello, Mr. Walker.
Can get your voice.
I cannot hear your voice. Hello, Mr. Walker. We cannot hear your voice.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
Could you hear me through the presentation?
yes, all the presentation we can hear you, but in the end,
Oh, okay.
we cannot hear your voice in the end. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Did we want to have any questions?
Okay. Okay. Thank you to our great speaker for sharing the materials about improve speaking and improve English and how to be a good speaker. And after listening to the presentation, I'm sure that all of us are impatient to ask questions to our great speaker today. So the regulation is, if you have questions to our great speaker today, please raise hand, and then I will invite you one by one, and then Mr. Walker will answer your question. Okay, so when you have question, raise your hand, say your name and say your study program and institute and your semester. Okay, so now we open this question and answer session. Where are you, all participants? Please raise your hand. Okay, the first question is come from Raisa Davina. Please welcome.
Okay, first of all, thank you for the chance. I'm a bit nervous now because it's really amazing for me to talk with a native speaker from Canada. And my question is actually, you have explained this about, but I still want to ask this. I have a problem about my English when I want to talk. Sometimes I love to talk to myself, and people around me is listening to me, and they will say that, why are you pretend to be like an English? Why are you pretend to be like Western? We are an Indonesian. Why don't you just speak in Bahasa? And because of that, sometimes it makes me feel just like, am I too much, or is that wrong, or something just like that? Can you give me something advice or everything that can make me feel better, or everything that can make me feel just like that? If it is really wrong, say me if that's wrong or not. I think that's all. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, oh, I've never had that question before. I'm trying to imagine what that must be like.
Wow. Yes. Amazing.
Yeah, how can I best answer that question? Gee. I'm glad you do that. That's
Yes.
important that you do that. So this happens when you're out in public, or just around your family, or who? Where would this occur?
Mostly in public, because my family used to not use. My mother is good in English, so sometimes we talk in English at home. So when I start to talk in public in English, they will say that, why you pretend just like an English, why you pretend just like Western, and it makes me feel shy. And well, sometimes it makes me don't want to talk in English anymore in public.
Yeah. Well, people, they're probably a little bit jealous too, that maybe you're speaking in English and they can't speak in another language. So you got to think about, look at this. Here's my son. You can say hello to my son.
Hello. Hello. How are you? What's your name? Oh my God.
He's
What's your
just
name?
he's just learning to speak English too.
Oh yeah.
Are you Finnegan? Are you Finn?
Yes.
Hmm?
What's your name?
His name is Finn.
Okay. So nice.
So so I wouldn't worry. I would really not worry about those people. Sorry,
Okay. It's
little
okay.
troublemaker in here.
Yeah, it's okay. That's never mind.
Yeah, this is a challenging question. It's a challenging thing, but so you're out speaking with your mom in English, right?
Yes, at home.
Right?
Yes.
Well, that's really great that you can do that with your mother, and I would encourage you to continue to do that. Don't worry about what anybody says, okay? There's a reason why people might put you down, and it's to build themselves up. Do you understand? People will try to tear down anybody if they can make themselves feel better about themselves. So a lot of times that's coming from insecurity. Insecurity? You know the word insecurity? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming from insecurity.
Yes.
So I would sort of dust that off,
Oh.
not worry about it, and understand
Really.
where it's coming from. When you understand why a person says what they say, does what they do, racism, for example, why are people racist? It comes from all those sorts of places of insecurity and fear. They hear you speaking another language, it probably scares them a little bit, because he's not used to hearing other languages, and it could maybe even scare them. So I don't know. You never know why people act the way they act and say the things they say sometimes, but you're not hurting anybody. You're not hurting that person, right?
Yes.
So, you could even respond like that. I'm not hurting you, am I? And what are they going to say? They're going to say, no, you're not hurting me. Okay, good. And then just go on and just move on. Or just even thank them for their concern, and just walk away. I just wouldn't really worry about it too much, because you're not doing anything wrong, you're not harming anybody, and you're only trying to improve yourself.
Yes.
And you don't have to apologize for that, right?
Yeah.
So
That's so
yeah.
nice.
Anyways, keep it up, keep talking to your mother, and keep talking in public, and then you'll get better.
Yeah.
And maybe one day, it'd be really, I encourage anybody that can afford it or save up money, is go to an English speaking country for a little bit of time where you have to speak English all the time.
Yes.
Then you'll
Yes.
really learn fast. You really learn, So that's how my daughter learned English. She moved here from Indonesia. She sent her to school. She had no choice, and she learned very fast, very quickly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
And
Mr. Walker. That's a very nice
that's
answer.
a fun question. I enjoyed that. That was good.
Yes.
Thank you for the answer, Mr. Nick.
I hope I helped. I helped.
Yes, you helped me so much.
Okay, good.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Walker. That is a very nice answer because this is one of the challenging questions. Yes, the point is you do not harm anybody and you just improve yourself. So carry on, and you can add your friend. You can speak English with me too.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Raisa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We go to the next question. It's from Ayustina Julia. Please welcome.
Hey, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning and good night for Mr. Walker. So, my name is Aistina Julia. I'm from English Department of Institute Pendidikan Tapanuli Selatan. So actually, I really want to be a good speaker though, especially in English, but I'm not confident to speak in public and speaking in English in public. So, when I speak in English in public, they actually say that why are you speaking in English? This is Indonesian. You're not supposed to speak in English in Indonesia, and this kind of that stuff. So how do I build my confidence to be like a good speaker or can speak speaking in public stuff?
When they say you're not supposed to speak English in Indonesia, who says that?
Most of my friends say.
Did your president say that?
No.
So who says you can't speak English in public?
Like my friends mostly they say like we're speaking in Indonesia. Like they don't want when the time I speaking in English, they don't really like why are you speaking English? No, this is not an American or kind of stuff. Like they just log at me and they just booed me because of that stuff. So
I would just respond and say that I enjoy learning other languages.
Yes.
me too.
I enjoy learning other languages. Do you enjoy watching TV? Do you enjoy watching movies on TV? Do you enjoy watching lots of different types of movies on TV? Yes. So I enjoy learning lots of different types of languages. Learning language is just good for your memory. It's good for your mind. It helps you in all your other studies. You know that? To learn another language helps you in all your studies. It's really good for the mind. So, I know what you're dealing with and it's difficult, but it's mostly, I'll be honest, it's rooted in, you have to understand where it comes from. And where it comes from is fear, ignorance, they lack understanding. They themselves don't want to expand their minds, but you do, right? And that's the difference. But rather than get into all that with them, you just need to understand yourself so that you feel good about yourself and what you're doing, understand where they are coming from, and then just thank them for their concern. But this is how you do it. And I hope you understand. I'm not hurting you. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just trying to learn. Is there anything learning? No. So what's so wrong about learning English? It's just learning. Are you saying that it's wrong to learn? Of course not. It's not wrong to learn. So, it's how you frame the conversation. Because if you frame the conversation like that, they have nothing to say. It's okay to learn, right? So that's all you're doing is you're just learning. My parents want me to learn. I want to do better in life, so I have to learn. You'll probably find a lot of these people that say that they're not too concerned about learning, right? Right? Those people that say that, they're not too concerned about learning. So you have to understand where it comes from, accept it, acknowledge it, and then move on. Don't let people get in your way in life. You have to march forward. There's always going to be people trying to stop you from progress, because they feel like they're missing, like they're losing or something, or they're not, yeah, I don't know. That's the best I can really help you with that. That's what I would say at any rate. I'm just learning like everybody, and I happen to be learning English. I could be learning volleyball, but I'm learning English. So I think if you frame it in the context of learning rather than the language, because you're just learning a language, just like you might learn math or you might learn science, you're learning English. And you're learning English because you want to go to a better school. Okay? You tell them that. You tell them the reason I'm learning English is so I can study overseas, so I can improve my life. See what they say to that. Wouldn't you want to improve your life? Ask them. Would you not want to improve your life if you could? Sure. Everybody wants to do that. So, okay. Next question.
Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes,
That's
actually.
I mean, it's a challenging question, and it's
Yeah.
difficult to answer. And every situation is different too. When someone asks you that, the person is different, the circumstances are different,
Yeah.
so your answer will always be different.
Yeah.
So it's impossible for me to give you the perfect response, but just know that what you're doing is improving your life and you're learning. Yeah. And that's why you do it.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Walker. And we are sure that your answer really helpful because yes, they actually don't do negative or wrong thing, just learn. So just think that the other people may be jealous because they cannot speak English or cannot practice English.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
that's what it is. It comes from jealousy, fear,
insecurity, maybe.
insecurity,
Yeah.
all those sorts of base feelings, very base,
Yeah.
and guaranteed they're not going to school. Nobody's telling them to learn anything or to better their lives. So then they see you bettering your life and improving your life, and it makes them feel insecure because they know they're not improving their life.
Yeah.
They almost feel like they're being left behind. You see? And that creates fear. So don't do that. They're, in a way, what they're saying is, don't speak English, don't do that, because you're making me feel like I can't improve my life or something like that. Do you understand? It's kind of coming from that sort of emotion. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. The next question is from Nispa Wahyuni. Please welcome.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Wagner.
Okay, here In Indonesia, good morning, but in Canada, good evening.
It's yeah.
Nick.
I think it's about 7 o'clock in the evening here,
Yeah.
Okay, I will
and
ask you.
it's yesterday. You guys are tomorrow.
Yesterday. Oh my. Okay, Nispa.
Yeah, this is I'm 7 o'clock for you guys. It'd be 7 o'clock last night, right? You're what time is it there? 9 a.m.
10
10
a.m. Indonesia. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's 10 a.m. tomorrow for me.
Oh. Okay. Yes, Nispa, please welcome.
I really thank you for this change, Mr. I have a question. Can you give us some motivation for this is important?
Some motivation for what?
You tell us what is the most important thing about English? Like, can you give some motivation for us to make us think that English is important?
Oh, sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, English is the most spoken language in more countries than any other language in the world. English is spoken around the world. I believe it's in about 186 countries. So if you can speak English, you can go speak and be able to communicate with people in most places in the world by learning just that one language. English is also the language of business. So if you want to do business around the world, it's usually done in English. Anybody who's doing business in the world usually can speak some English. So you have that ability to communicate. English, if you have a strong ability, will allow you to study abroad in another college or university overseas. You would have that ability. My wife, she didn't know English very well, but she knew a little bit of English. And she learned on YouTube, actually. And she learned how to speak Mandarin and Cantonese herself. But by speaking these languages, it allowed her to come to Canada. And it allowed her to come to work here and to make money. And that's how we met. And, her life is better for it. She has a good life now. And you could really say that a lot of the reason that her life is better now is because of her ability to learn English and to be able to communicate. I mean, if she couldn't communicate English, she couldn't have met me. So, because she could speak English, we were able to meet and talk and communicate. And then we ended up getting married. And, she lives in Canada now. She had the ability to, she had to know English in order to come here to work. And she was able to send money home to her family, and she built a house there and things like that. But it all stemmed from her being able to get decent education. She learned English. And as I said, she also learned Mandarin and Cantonese when she was working in China, in Hong Kong and Taiwan. So all these languages that she learned has really, opened up her horizons. There's so much opportunity for her because of the ability to speak multiple languages. So whether it's English or French or, Chinese, it doesn't matter. I mean, learning language is always going to give you more opportunity in the world, the more you can speak language, but English in particular, I think will open up more doors for you than just about any other language if you can learn it. But it's about how you use it. You can learn English, but are you going to use it? And that's the key. I can show you how to use a tool because English is a tool. And I can show you how to use that. I can tell you how to use that tool or speak with that tool, but you're the one that has to use it. You have to go out there and do something with it. You understand? So it's one thing to speak English. But then also you have to take the English that you've learned and then, express it? How can I use it to better my life? You know?
Thank you. We go to the next question from Taufik Nasution.
I
Please
hope I
welcome.
answered your question okay.
Okay. Taufik, please welcome.
Oh, yes. Good evening, sir. Mr. Walker.
Good evening.
I have
Good
one
evening.
question. Pardon me, ma'am. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, sir. I have a question. Why are most people embarrassed to speak when he is speaking in front of many people?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Why are most people embarrassed to speak when he is speaking in front of many people? Just like speak in 1,000 people, maybe?
I don't quite understand your question. Is that you saying, are you talking about being embarrassed to speak?
Oh, yes. Yes, embarrassed.
Up in front of many people?
Yes.
Well, that's normal. Even myself, if I go up and speak in front of an audience, let's say I go up on a big stage and talk in English, it still makes me nervous. I'm still worried about making mistakes. I'm still worried about embarrassment. But you know what? I do it anyway. You know, because what's the alternative? If I don't go on the stage and if I don't speak, then what happens? I don't do it. And then nothing happens. So it is better to try than not try at all. Right? And this goes for anything in life. You have to try, you know, try, and try again. You know, so don't be afraid. Fear, I always like to think of fear as not being real. It's an illusion. You know, it's not, it's something in our mind, you know, and then you just try to forget it. Or I'll try to, even though I'm afraid, I have to just force myself to do it anyways. And that's how I approach things in life, whether I'm going to the doctor to get a needle or operation or whatever it is that I'm afraid of. I know it's for me, that's good ultimately. So I'm going to do it. So don't be afraid to speak in public or in front of people. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Because the alternative is if you don't try, then nothing happens. You don't progress. The only way you get better is if you try and you try and you try and you fall down, you get back up. You fall down, you get back up. You just keep trying, you know? So, and that's the nature of life in everything we do. You have to keep trying. You know, there's always going to be people, you know, laughing at you, trying to put you down, trying to hold you back, you know, always going to be people doing that. You have to be focused on what you're trying to do and just keep practicing and keep doing it. And don't worry if you feel stupid or make a mistake. It's okay. Because one day you won't be, right? One day you won't be. So, yeah. Be fearless. Be fearless. You know that word? Be fearless. Yeah. He's crazy.
Okay. Thank you so much to all.
Son, he's crazy.
Oh my God. Hello, Kathleen. Okay. Thank you very much, all participants who have questions to our great speaker today. So now we go to the next session. It's documentation. But before we go to documentation session, may I make a conclusion of our material today is how to improve English and how to be a good speaker. That's the most important thing, that don't be afraid of making mistakes, because in speaking English, that as long as the speaker and listener understand each other, that's enough. Like that. And also, yes, sir.
Be fearless. Every time that happens, just say, I'm fearless.
Yes, fearless. Okay,
Yeah.
and then I make there are 7 amazing or powerful weapons that Mr. Walker have presented. That the first is listening, imitate, reading and writing, prepare, try to speak up and practice. And reading can increase your knowledge, your vocabulary, and writing reflect what you have read. So it is very essential parts to improve our English.
You know, when I went to college and out of high school, and my English wasn't very good, and I went to college to improve my English. I took English class, and the one thing that really helped me to speak English well was by reading and writing.
Yeah.
And the more I read and the more I wrote, the better my speech became, because then I started to speak the way I wrote. So if I wrote correctly, then I would speak correctly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the reading and the writing is absolutely number 1, number 2. They go together.
Yes.
Yeah. Really, really important. I can't stress that enough. Yeah. Yeah. And poetry. Poetry is great.
Oh, poetry. Okay.
Oh,
maybe
poetry.
later. Yes. Maybe later we can talk about that. That's so
Hey, if you
nice.
want to do something on poetry, I'd love that. I love poetry.
Oh yeah. Yes. So do I.
Lots of
So
great
do
little
I.
lots of great little writing exercises with poetry. You know, how you can take a word and you can have fun with it and try to make a poem using certain words, you know, and then just making like a game almost. Yeah.
Yes. Maybe later we can make a discussion also about writing poetry. Yes, that's so nice, Mr. Walker. That I also totally agree that reading and writing, that's very essential practice to improve our English, to be a good speaker. Thank you.
Yeah.
So now we can make a documentary. Okay, please give applause, great applause to our great speaker today. Yes. Okay, so now we go to the next session, is documentation session. So when we count 1, 2, 3, then you show your thumbs like that. Okay, so we capture. Yes, we capture the sound. Okay, so your thumbs like this. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Please turn on your camera, all participants. Turn on your camera. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the next slide, 1, 2, 3.
Wait.
Okay, the next slide, 1, 2, 3. Okay, actually, Mr. Walker, there are 113 participants here. So all of us want to make a documentation and want to capture the photo or picture with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you know what? One day, what school are you guys at again? What school?
Institut Pendidikan Tapanuli Selatan. Actually, this is one of the private university, private college in Padang Sidimpuan in North Sumatra. Have you been here, North Sumatra?
You're in North Sumatra?
Yeah, North Sumatra, you know?
Oh, wow. No, I haven't been
Toba Lake.
Sumatra.
Yeah, you know, Toba Lake in North Sumatra.
Well, you know what? I will do my best on my next, once we're there, out to come up and visit you guys. So that would be fantastic. Yeah.
Yes, that's really fantastic. And so if you have time, you go here, just give us news so we can meet in some place. So
Yeah.
from North Sumatra, yeah, from North Sumatra in Medan, Toba Lake, it needs 8 hours. 8
Well, I know
hours
Sumatra,
by
like,
land transportation.
I mean, you're up by Malaysia.
No, in North Sumatra,
Huh?
North Sumatra, Medan. And Medan, from Medan, we need it's about 8 hours by land transportation. 10 to 8 hours by land transportation to Medan, North Sumatra. So that's really far. So
Wow.
this is a very fantastic experience, very fantastic.
Well, anyway, that was,
so we can talk each other like that.
I've always wanted to go to Sumatra, but I haven't. We haven't made it that way yet. No.
Yes, maybe
I'm-
someday.
It's so big, such a big country.
Yes, that's
Yeah, we've just been to. I've been to East Java, Central Java, West Java. I've been over to Bali, all the islands, all the way out to what's that place where the dragon is? Well, I'm trying to think. Flores, you know, the Flores region.
Oh yeah,
Flores.
Flores, yes.
Yeah, I love Flores region. That's beautiful there. Yeah, that's it. So I've still lots to see.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
maybe someday we can meet here, or maybe
Yeah,
in some place.
Well, I did at Christmas. Last Christmas, I did just like this. Then I went to Indonesia last Christmas, and I went to the university, and I got to meet everybody. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
But
It
you
was
never
fun.
been in North Sumatra, in Padang
Not yet.
Seribuan. Yes, Institute of
Not yet.
Pendidikan Tapanuli Selatan. So that's really fantastic for us to make a virtual meeting like that with you, Mr.
Yeah.
Walker.
Well, we're moving to Indonesia next year,
oh yeah,
so
oh yeah, I
I'll be
see.
living. Yeah, I think we'll be moving to East Java,
Oh
and
yeah,
then maybe
it's Java.
after that to Bali. Yeah, we got a little place there too.
It's Java, so you can meet Ma'am Hafti there, Universitas
Yeah.
Islam Blitar. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, we've met
Actually,
many.
actually we never met before. Contactly, I mean indirectly.
Oh,
We never met before. Maybe
Oh, okay.
someday. Yeah, someday we can meet. Okay.
for sure.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Okay,
Well,
that's
it was great.
yes.
So, 160. How many were there tonight?
24 hours.
No. How many people were? How many students tonight?
All the students in Institut
On Zoom?
Pendidikan Tapanuli Selatan. Oh, in Zoom 112.
112. Okay.
Yeah, and
That's the biggest class I've had yet, I think.
yeah, and the rest of the participants from YouTube. Also, this a webinar from YouTube live streaming, Mr. Walker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we can see from
So-
YouTube live
More,
streaming.
so there was more than 112 then.
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. That's
Okay.
it. Love that.
Yes, Mr. Walker, thank you so much. And once again, I
Hey.
say that that's really
All right.
fantastic and it's really nice virtual meeting today. And we just want to say thank you to Ma'am Hasti too, who make a connection among us and send our regards to your family. May God always bless you, to your family, to your son, to your wife, and all of your family there. And stay healthy. And we hope we can meet in the next event and maybe
Yeah.
in Indonesia. Yes, thank you so much. And we say that your knowledge and your experience that you have shared to us, that's really powerful and really helpful to improve
Oh.
our English, how to be a good speaker. Thank you very
Great.
much. And we are so sorry for our inconvenience things during this webinar. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's okay.
Thank you so much.
Terima kasih.
Yeah, terima kasih. And maybe from Ibu Asriani Hasibuan, you want to say something from our head of English Language Education Study Program?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for our moderator today, Miss Gaby Morin. Okay, Mr. Nick Walker, I really want to say thank you so much for this chance, yeah, for this information, for all knowledge that you have given for us, especially for our students in English Language Education Study Program. Hopefully, all students that we have here can, can take all the knowledge that you have given, and maybe someday we can meet directly in Indonesia, especially in Padang Sidimpuan, North Sumatra, in the next event, in the next moment, hopefully. And for Miss Hesti, thank you so much. Yeah, like Miss Gaby Morin said that we never meet directly, but thank you so much for assistance, that connecting us for Mr. Nick Walker from Canada. So this is the this is a spectacular experience for my students in English Language Education Study Program to have you as a great speaker, a native Canadian. Yeah, sir. Thank you so much, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih. Thank you, Indonesia. Thank you, all participants, and thank you so much for our moderator, committee, and special for first Vice Rector Bapak Dr. Zulfadli Nasution, Magister Pendidikan. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
IPTS Jaya.
IPTS Jaya.
Yes, Mr. Walker, I have to inform you that the participants of this webinar is not only English Language Education Study Program students, but the lecturers also and the students from the other study program. Yes, this is really fantastic for us. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning.
Waalaikumsalam. IPTS Jaya.
IPTS Jaya. Amin.
Okay, Mr. Walker,
Bye-bye.
can you help us to say IPTS Jaya?
Ya, bagaimana? Silakan bergabung yang lain.
Udah live kayaknya.
Ya, Mr. Nick sudah
Live kan?
live ya.
Jadi semua isi link presensi kehadirannya ya.
Sudah dikirimkan. Sudah dikirimkan ya.
Okay, we can leave now. Bye.
Dari host, mohon maaf jika ada kesalahan. Izin semuanya ya.